Hello, YouTube. This is ZiggyNo with Sports Cards Daily. And on this day, August 4th, in 2007, Barry Bonds hits his 755th home run, tying the record. On this day in 2012, Michael Phelps wins his 18th gold, setting the Olympic record. Today, I'm going to be reviewing interviews from the past few days. Many of them took place during the conferences, and I didn't have time to highlight and discuss the important facts that I picked up and wanted to share with you. So this is going to be a little longer video as we kind of play catch up on the weekend. I'll also go over some of the hobby news going on. Pat Neshek on eBay, Max Spiegel from CGC, the new grading company, or I shouldn't say new company, grading, but the new entrance to the sports card grading market. And I'll go over an article on 2014 Prism Soccer. I should also mention that later tonight I will be participating in a live collaboration with the Comeback Card Kid. It will be around 9 p.m. You'll find that on his channel, and I'll put the link below for you. Let's get into the content. So, several great interviews. This one is actually one from Hobbypalooza on August 1st. This is an interview where they spoke with David Reel, Vice President at GTS Distribution. I found this very useful. I listened to it again for a second time, actually made some comments and notes in the video, or on the comments for the video, that I'd like to get your thoughts on if you have a chance to listen to. What caught my attention here was just listening to distribution, how to explain their, what they do. They talked about allocation. I will say this: I've not been a fan of distribution. I don't understand why we have distribution in the market, especially in sports card in the modern world with e-commerce. Of course, you're going to argue, well, look at Topps, they can't get Project 2020 cards out. I would disagree. I just think there's a better way to do this. I look at distribution as the guys who set the prices, right? When you guess a retail price is 150 and they set it at 800, I think it's distribution that's really, really sticking it to the consumer the most. So I'd love for you to give me your feedback, listen to it, tell me I'm wrong, defend the distributor type of thing. Next interview that I found really useful this weekend was Sports Card Analytics had Buster on for a short interview. First of all, I've watched Buster in several interviews, and I get more and more impressed with this young man. Several things that he said in this video that I thought were impressive. First of all, he made a comment that he recognizes his influence. He has over 1 million subscribers to his Instagram account and has his own YouTube channel. So he recognizes, that he's careful and cautious about what cards he talks about or what things he says. I cannot applaud him enough. I wish more people were cautious about the way they throw around names and cards and so forth. He went on to say that he's even considering selling off his sports cards so he can get into more talking about the hobby without having that impact of potentially manipulating it. So again, I just commend this young man for even having that foresight to say these things. They have a great conversation in here about Pokemon, which I was still totally unaware of. So I learned a lot about Pokemon in this as well. So definitely check it out. And if you're not already, I would recommend following Buster on his YouTube and Instagram accounts. Next interview this weekend that I was unable to make live, but did catch in a replay, was the Slabs to Riches. The Hobby Box Boris had Chris from House of Jordan on. I've been following both these guys for a while. I'll just say, take a look at minute 50 in the interview. It's a 108-minute interview, but fast forward to minute 50 and give me your thoughts. At this point, Boris will jokingly talk about how he could use Card Ladder to jokingly hype up cards, and Chris from Card Ladder jokingly laughs back, that's a great idea. But this is exactly what I am concerned about. And I'll say this again, people think I'm a critic of Card Ladder because I don't like it. I don't like the fact that Card Ladder is a hype tool, right? I wish it was a data tool. It's not a data tool. It leverages data, but I put it this way: remove the scoring algorithm and the predictive analytics, and then make it a data tool. But take a look at this video, listen to minute 50, and give me your opinion. Give me your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I being a little hypersensitive? Or is this a cautious warning about what's going on in the sports card industry? Another great interview that took place this weekend was Christina's Corner. Now, these interviews are done, recorded, and then dropped on her channel, and she had the creative team from Panini on, and I'll be honest, this is really cool. It was great to hear from the different people at Panini on how they, are involved in the product process and what goes behind it. Lengthy interview. I haven't listened to the entire thing yet, so I don't have all my notes yet, but I did think it's worth flagging and bringing to people's attention. Definitely a valuable interview here because you're going to get some insight on manufacturing and what Panini's doing behind the scenes in a positive way. Another great interview I caught was Talking Sports Cards with Cahill Cards. Excuse me. Michael and Ed had a great conversation. I've been following Michael's channel for a while. These guys are both very active on TikTok and Instagram, building out their YouTube presence. Ed's been building out his content, and now I've started a little break. He's a breaker now. And I really enjoyed this conversation. They talked a lot about community, about the hobby. It was just a warm and friendly kind of conversation between two people you could kind of listen into. So I do encourage it. There's definitely some takeaways from it, about learning about building out your content, about managing customers, a little bit about why the hobby is important to both these guys. Again, it was really interesting to see, and I really enjoyed the interview. So I do recommend taking a look if you have a chance. Another great video that popped this weekend was the Sports Card Investigator show. This one, he kind of discusses influencers, and I'll say I've been a fan of his show. He and I won't say that. I like his perspective. He definitely seems to be trying to watch the hype and all the influencers on the net. I too agree with many things he says. He makes some excellent points in here. He doesn't call out the actual names of the influencers, but he lays some pretty good arguments about why it's important to listen and think for yourself. And also just kind of points out some blatant, why is this guy hyping Marvin Bagley when Marvin Bagley's injured, right? I mean, if you're going to hype a card, give me some good information, right? Like I said, if you're going to use a tool, explain to me why you're using the tool, right? So I really recommend taking a look at this. Little lengthy at 38 minutes, but he hits on some really great points. And if you're not already subscribing, I would definitely subscribe to Sports Card Investigator. I think he's going to have some exciting stuff coming in the future. Another great video that dropped yesterday was The Hype. And in this one, they do it more podcast style. It's not, I don't get as much video. I believe it's a conversation with Carvin, who is the creator of the Exquisite product, worked at Upper Deck. I believe now he works for GTS, but has a long, great career in the hobby. I saw him on an interview earlier with Sports Card Live, and I thought this was a great follow-up conversation. And I'm always a fan of The Hype, and they've been putting out some really great content on their channel. So I do recommend taking a look. It is a little bit lengthy of an interview, but if you haven't already, give him a subscribe and listen to some of the content there on The Hype. Last night, one of my favorite shows that I keep mentioning that, we just don't have enough subscribers at, in my opinion, yet, is Hobby Hotline. They did their Monday Night Heat episode. I dialed in early and shared some of my observations from the conferences, and I actually brought up one of my hypotheses on why we are in a bubble and why the bubble will crash. I'm not making any predictions on when. I have no idea when, but I can give you some pretty good information on why and what the problem is. So if you want to listen to the first few minutes of that, you'll hear my argument, and then you can hear the guys talk a little bit about that. But I will also mention, this is a great channel, guys. If you want to learn, you have questions about the hobby, call in on these channels and ask questions, right? It's a great opportunity to get access to some really good resources in sports cards. Let's go ahead now and flip over to some of the news. This is from Sports Collectors Daily. Pat Neshek's helping launch eBay's new video series on collecting. And we got a preview of this at the Sports Card Conference last week. In fact, this is dated July 27th, so it's probably no surprise. But I thought it was a good, interesting read. And it's interesting to also see eBay's involvement in sports cards. They're not, I think we give them a lot of grief, but if I looked at all the parties in the sports card community, I think eBay is probably one of the better. They're maybe the skeletal backbone to the hobby in many ways. They provide comps, they provide a marketplace, they provide a global marketplace. Love them or hate them, they protect the buyer from when he buys cards, and they provide sellers with access to more buyers than any other platform in the world. So definitely enjoyed the article, and I do support eBay and look forward to what they're doing. Another great content that dropped this is a podcast actually, but this got I got interested in this after picking up some information about CGC and their grading. CGC is a comic company. They've been grading comics, and now they're going to be grading sports cards. They currently grade Pokemon and other cards. But this is a good interview. put on by Let Me Get That Potograph, and he had a conversation with Max Spiegel from CGC. So I do recommend, if you have a chance, listen to this. I'm looking forward to seeing CGC. To be honest, I'm not sure why not use them right away, but I'm really interested in seeing their subgrades. Right? I heard that they're going to be providing subgrades. There'll be the second card grader to do this, only to BGS. Lastly, picked up an article. This is on the Full Count Media website, and I'll put the link below. I believe this is sponsored by Les Alex and his channel. A young man, Brian Chung, who I followed his channel, young man putting out some sports card content. Everybody's asking about soccer, and I thought this was an interesting breakdown of soccer. And I say interesting because I honestly am not educated enough to debate it. I don't know much about soccer, but I liked his breakdown. I liked his explanation. I thought it was interesting to read. It was, as I will say, insightful. So if you are unaware or getting into the soccer world, Brian Chung might be a good place to start. I've also mentioned Card Hour in past videos and Vincent. So hopefully you'll find this as beneficial to you as well. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the update today. I hope to see you back tomorrow. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I always love comments. If you have content out there that you're creating and you would like for me to mention, I am always open to that. If you hear of new sources of content that you would recommend I take a look at, please get that to me. I can't, as much as I try, I can't be everywhere. So I really appreciate any feedback and comments from everyone else out there. Have a great day. Stay safe and stay healthy.